Rachel loses her powers. Gar hears voices. Kory gets a message from her tutor. Tim starts his training, and Dick kicks some elf butt. Hello, entertainment enthusiasts. This is Ray, and this is the Fandom Realm. And today, I am reviewing Season 4, Episode 3 of Titans. As always, this is a spoiler review, so just be warned. Episode 3 starts us out after the attacks of Mother Mayhem, and we get to see a newly blonde Rachel, who is also without her forehead gem. She has apparently lost her powers. She's been, I guess, separated from what they're calling her soul self, and that's the part that's sort of her conduit to powers and conduit to feeling the things that everybody around her feels. And she's only upset for a few minutes, really, because she starts seeing that it's not that bad, because it's so exhausting to hear everyone's issues all the time. So Rachel's going to be with Gar, and he's going to be facing his own issues, which basically revolve around voices in his head whispering that he's a skinwalker. And the sky's also going to be turning an ominous blood red around him. It's something that Rachel can't see until Gar takes her hand, and that reveals the red sky to her. I wonder if that has anything to do with her not having powers right now. They wander through the woods and eventually come across that withered tree decorated with human bones. They're all swaying in the breeze, and it's all very creepy. At the very end of the episode, Gar interprets the whispers. He's thinking about everything, and he's going to interpret it as saying, when the blood moon is full, the world will fall to evil. Okay, and this is an idea that's going to crop up several times. Meanwhile, Mother Mayhem is causing some more issues because she arranges for 40 gallons of blood to be stolen from the Metropolis PD. Somehow, she's going to end up getting Sebastian arrested for murder. She actually impersonated the stuck-up game guy who had mocked him and made fun of him in the last episode, and she actually called Sebastian on the phone. She sounded like this game developer guy. She's going to set up a meeting with Sebastian, and of course, poor Sebastian, he's going to arrive at the meeting. The guy has no idea why he's there. Sebastian's confused. The guy's going to tell him to leave, but all of a sudden he gets possessed and jams a pair of scissors in his eye. Sebastian's going to be arrested on suspicion of committing the crime. Also, we're going to see Dick take Kory to Bloodhaven to meet Jinx, an old flame of his who's doing time for magic-assisted burglaries. Once they bring her out to see Dick and Kory, she's going to escape. She basically turns into a mini tornado. Or I guess she actually summons a mini tornado that takes her out of there. Dick correctly is going to assume that she's going to head straight to the art dealer that she was trying to rob in the first place. And he is proven right. He and Kory go there, and they catch Jinx while she's there. And she has a little box that has a beating heart in it. And when Kory opens the box and looks at the beating heart, she turns to stone. Jinx is going to claim that only the spellcasters can free Kory, so she's going to take Dick to a secret nightclub to meet the dark elf who was responsible for the magic. But really, that turns out to just be a distraction. The dark elf lady tries to have Dick killed, but he's going to end up basically whooping all of her security guards, and then he's going to kick her butt too. And he's going to figure out that Jinx was basically just using him, and he finds out that she has a death mark on her because she owes $5 million for some deals that have not gone well. Dick agrees to pay it if she helps the Titans with their magic problems, and she actually agrees. Now, I'm assuming this is Bruce's money that he's paying Jinx with. She's also going to free Kory, which it turns out she could have done herself all along. This was important, though, having Kory be turned into stone, because while she was incapacitated, she's actually going to be visited, I guess, in her mind by her tutor. I'm not exactly sure what her name was. I don't think I ever caught it. We're going to see the whole blood moon thing brought up again, and it's revealed that her destiny and Dick's as well is tied to the blood moon. Finally, we do see Tim sent back to Star Labs, and he's going to continue to look like he's flirting with that assistant, and we finally figure out his name is Bernard. And so he's going back. Bernard's going to be in charge of his training with Connor, but they're going to become aware of some murders and the theft at the Metropolis PD. That is the theft, as I remember, of that blood we talked about a little bit earlier. They're going to end up uncovering a connection between all the victims of the blood cult. They all share a genetic mutation that traces back to an ancient Assyrian tribe. They also connect the symbol that has been left on blood canisters to Sebastian's game. They go to speak to him and realize he's been arrested. How convenient. The Titans are going to break Sebastian out of jail. Well, Connor broke Sebastian out of jail, but the rest of the Titans were waiting with the car on the outside. And that was right as Mother Mayhem was making a play to, I guess, get Sebastian on her side. She had him reciting some magic words, and we don't know exactly what they were supposed to do. Actually, as he said them, Connor broke through the wall, and originally I thought for just a split second that that's what the spell was doing. And then, of course, it was Connor, though. This basically shows that Sebastian is central to Mother Mayhem's plans. Maybe we'll get a few answers next week. Okay, now I want to go through and just talk about a few reactions and thoughts. And if you haven't noticed, I did this review a little bit different in that I didn't exactly go almost chronological through what happened. And I think you can follow that. So I'm just trying that out a little bit. But on to the show and some thoughts. Really, the first thing that jumped out to me was just the blood and the gore that was actually in this episode, especially when the pair of scissors got jammed in the game developer publisher's eye. The blood, with all the blood that's been seen, this has been a very bloody, gory season so far, at least the first 3 episodes. And I'm all for that. I don't have a problem with that. Titans has had a little bit of an issue deciding what it wants to be, and I think it needs to finally make that decision. They started out the first season, of course, everybody knows that famous line from the trailer that got lots of people mad about Robin saying F Batman. And so with that, you've basically had a situation where that was meant to show this Titans was going to be a darker, more adult Titans. But then we go into season 2 and season 3, and they're a little bit on the lighter side. We do see some death, but even with that, it didn't seem like it was the same tone they were trying to have in the first season. And it seems like this 4th season, we've gone back to a very dark tone. And so I don't know exactly how that relates in their plan. Second thing, I really like the trajectory of Kory's character. She's a very important character in all this. She has lots of things to learn. She is, of course, a leader at heart. So since those first episodes, when she met up with Dick, she is going to be in a situation where she feels like she's on that level with him, and she's very close to him as well. Now, I have already mentioned this, and I'll probably mention it again, and that is just this idea of the supernatural and magic and where it actually should fall in superhero movies. And I know at one point in this episode, Dick actually says that he hates magic, and that's sort of how I feel in a superhero series like this. And I'm not sure exactly what you do for it, but it's just one of those things. It's always going to be an issue I have when you're seeing magic in these type of series. Now, I'm going to tell you, the biggest thing I loved out of this episode was Dick kicking all that butt. I think I've mentioned before, one of my favorite characters in DC has always been Robin and Dick Grayson and then Nightwing. And to have him go in and single-handedly just kick everybody's ass and then kick the elf queen or elf leader, whatever you want to call her, kick her to the wall too, and do it pretty easily. I love that. I just love the character. I love everything Nightwing / Dick Grayson does. I've also will say I enjoyed the scenes back at Star Labs, especially with Tim Drake and him training. He's starting to learn what he needs to do. He's learning how to defend himself. I really enjoy his character because, of course, I want him to grow in and become the new Robin, which is where they're going with all this, of course. And then along with with that, maybe the last thing I'm going to mention here is Connor. And it seems like this is going to be maybe Connor's season for growth because he is having to learn a lot. He's had everything from the disappointment of not having Superman meet him at Star Labs. He goes and meets Lex, and then Lex gets killed and he's blamed for it. And so he's having some daddy issues because of that. And he's really doesn't know his place yet. And I think he's in that sort of area superheroes get in when they know they have power, but they don't know how to use it, and they don't have experience, so they make mistakes. We all know Connor needs to listen to Dick more. He's been around. He's done it before, but Connor has a problem with that because Connor just wants to jump in because he's the son of Superman. And I find that his development this season is going to be one of the most interesting things that we see. Last thing, and this is probably a little bit of a negative, I didn't really like the fact they broke Sebastian out of jail. They've just been walking in and out of jails and prisons and everything, talking to people. Why didn't they just go in and see him, talk to him, do whatever they needed to do? That didn't make a lot of sense to me, but really that's the only little nitpicky thing I have on this episode. Now, with that being said, I'm going to give this episode of Titans a grade of a B. I enjoyed the episode for the most part. I'm liking the horror aspect. I do like some things supernatural. I just don't like them that much in superheroes. But now, everybody, it's time to bring this review to an end. And please subscribe to the channel, like the videos, and comment below. And I'll see you next time on the Fandom Realm.